So tell us about how you um, got the Las Vegas residency, and then like similar to the question just now with BJ Kemp,
Hmm.
the advantages of being on that same stage and knowing the acoustics and the spots and um, just the familiarity of it all, like just the advantages of doing a residency.
Well, the advantages of doing residency is the fact that you can recreate every time. You know,
Hmm.
similar to I now understand the desires and is a bucket list of mine. But when people do Broadway, you know, every performance is they have the opportunity to recreate themselves over and over and over again. So last night's performance won't be the same as tonight's performance. Won't be the same. It depends on how you're feeling, what emotions you have, what you're going through, what has happened to you that day. Anything could can erupt within and allow that performance to be based off of what you're dealing with at that moment. So the cool thing about having the residency and doing that is being able to just recreate every week that those emotions, that scenery, that show, and strengthen it as it goes. Impromptu, you don't know what you're gonna get. It could be planned, but you don't want it to be. You want it to just
Hmm.
be natural. You want it to just come out. So that's the joy of being able to have that, because you have the opportunity to do it again next week or tomorrow or whatever. And it helps you as you grow as an artist, or as you grow within your craft. It helps you own it even more so and develop it, because we're constantly creating, right? So you're constantly creating and developing. So having this opportunity where you can continue to build is always a positive thing. So I enjoyed doing the residency and having it, and creating a space where people could see Miss Monet in various lights. I could, because when I first did it, it was called the Soul of Jazz, and I was calling it an
Hmm.
interpretation of my interpretation of jazz, which was, a little mix of everything. So that's the dope part about it, just being able to just consistently create and recreate in the process.
pushplaypods.com.